Tap. Is this thing on? Wait. Hey. Right, let's roll. Welcome to Good Chats, folks. Sorry I'm a little bit late tonight. We just went out for dinner for just a little event, my 20th wedding anniversary. So, yeah, here we are, made it back just in time. That's great that you're hearing me. At least I remember to turn the mic on before I started talking this time. I'm in a little bit of a new position this time. I've got a new chair, a new old chair, and I'm not quite sure what's going on, but I'll work it out. G'day O'Malley Tours. Yes, episode 100 of Good Chats. Man, I can't believe that I've been doing this for every week for 100 weeks, aside from 2 weeks where I was basically dead. Harvey, welcome on board. You've got a lot more time on your hands now. The footy season is over, I expect, or maybe you're heading into cricket season. I don't know. Luke's fishing in the Northern Territory, representing the Northern Territory of Australia. Yes, we do remember the Bluebird. I've even driven a Bluebird, the Bluebird Kestrel down at the NRM. And that should be available for another driver experience day soon enough, which will book out quickly, no doubt. G'day JK, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard to Steve Klink. Welcome aboard to Pete Donaldson, sir. Come hither with Heather. It's really apt that you're here tonight, Heather. As I always say to people, you and Drew in the live streams that you guys were doing, 2 years ago now, maybe even 2.5 years ago, started to give me this idea that I might be able to make something happen here. And look, we're still here. 2 years later, well, not 2 years later, I should say, 100 weeks later, and I've got a lot planned for maybe the 2 years of Good Chats as well. Maybe I'll make a blooper reel and we'll add a bit more in so that the 2-year anniversary of Good Chats can be celebrated appropriately. Who else have we got on board? Sports Edits. First time commenter, thanks for coming on board, mate. Welcome aboard. Always love to see new people on board. You'll find us all a very welcoming bunch here. Zamargo also as well. G'day. Welcome aboard, Zamargo. Thanks Heather, and thanks Luke as well for your wet best wishes. Thanks JK, thanks Zamargo, and O'Malley. You'll be catching up soon. 15th wedding anniversary. What is this thing with all these Generation Z people hitting their milestone wedding anniversaries now? Geez, things were all a bit crazy back then in the late 90s, early 2000s, but look at us being all serious now. You know you made it when you can go out and eat food at Jolly's Boathouse restaurant. I've just got to shut down my chat window here in OBS because somehow I'm logged in as my other YouTube account. And I don't know, I just have this weird thing about people with multiple YouTube accounts. I don't really like having multiple YouTube accounts. I don't know what you think. Are multiple YouTube accounts cool? I'm not really sure. I think I'd just like to put all of the effort into one YouTube channel. One YouTube channel is hard enough to maintain. Thanks, Pete. 20 years, certainly been a ride, and it's been absolutely fantastic to have, and I'm going to go all soft here, to have somebody as such an awesome companion for 20 years, and may there be 20 more. Although Vanessa doesn't come with me on a lot of my railway photography trips like she used to, she's not quite as interested in rusted over signboards or bits of cabling or the odd random dog spike or perhaps even something that looked once like a cutting. But hey, that's what we do here on Outdoors Type. I do this stream every Wednesday night at 8:15 p.m. just to talk about railway and railway-related history stuff. We talk about all sorts of other things too, YouTube-y things, like, is having multiple YouTube accounts and multiple YouTube channels cool? I don't know. My jury's well and truly out on that one. I'm going to stick with one. Don't know what y'all think. We talk about outdoors related things. We talk about some of the work that we do out there. And as always, I ask everybody to share as well. What have you been up to this week? What can we talk about? Have you got anything interesting that you want to bring to it? Harvey mentioned the bluebirds and the bluebird kestrel, which still remains down there. He mentioned the name Jerry the bluebird, though. Harvey, I'd be interested to know more about this Jerry name. Whether or not this is another name for the bluebird kestrel, because I always learn so much more from the audience on this live stream than I think I teach. I'm not really here to be a teacher. I'm here for everyone to kind of share stuff and have some fun. So I think Zamago might be a plant because he's wondering if anyone films old ovals, and you're in the right chat channel here for people who film old ovals. Go check out O'Malley's channel, O'Malley Tours ATG Around the Grounds 34. Go check him out. So very soon there'll be a Kowangi oval video up, no doubt. And I love O'Malley's style of just presenting these by drone. It's similar to the kind of the feel I'm trying to get for my railway videos, which I've tried to continue. I think they've gotten a little bit too researchy and history and maybe a bit too narrative-y lately. There are a lot of bloody work, so I'm thinking of just pulling back on that a little bit. But having said that, I'll show you my plan for the next trip, which I'm going out on Sunday. But yeah, alongside, I guess, I can explore some of the old railway history and some of the cultural relevance of that in these days. And I think also what O'Malley does, and I think what Andy Munro Jumpers on Facebook, I think he is still. Go check out Andy Munro on Instagram and TikTok as well. He does the old footy grounds and he does the old footy jumpers as well, which I think is again a really important cultural contribution to history, and one of the really amazing things that comes out of all of this stuff that is social media. Welcome to week 100. Heather, you started a crochet channel, and yeah, you start to. Did you just start to? Obviously, as you know, because you've got well over 1,000 subscribers as well. You know how much work it is to get that far, and and let's be honest, what the chances of going viral really are, which is somewhere around about zero, about the same as a lotto ticket. So yeah, just keep working at it. You're doing a great job, and you've been inspirational, and the whole group that you formed around you as well. You've got an amazing live stream crew there. I'd recommend you do something regularly as well, because it's the regularity of this live stream, I think, that makes it so popular. I guess I don't really need to worry about notifications, because I still do worry about notifications, but at the same time, you just know that every Wednesday night at 8:15 p.m. or 8:45 in New South Wales, or whatever time it is in Western Australia, you're going to find that it's at the same time every week. Welcome aboard Trainboy 1200. Come hither with others just popped up. He's got a friend who lives near the Alteration train station. I reckon that's the Alberton train station. Near the end of the street before you get to Grand Junction Road. Yeah, I do know about that one. That's the old Rosewater Loop, the old abandoned line down there, which was going to be ripped up and turned into a park, but it looks like that's been put on hold with the current government's obsession with building tiny little expensive railway lines. Might be a really good idea to build another tiny little expensive railway line through Rosewater, particularly so that people from the northern suburbs can get over to to Osborne, where these new submarines are going to be built. They're even thinking of extending some railway there, or putting in a new station. I'm not sure which. It'll probably turn out to be a $50 million 1 kilometre railway extension to take people to the Australian Submarine Corporation, which, you know what, it's similar to what a lot of old railways were built for back in the day, like the Penfield line, the Finsbury line, the Hendon line. All of these lines were built to serve factories not just for freight but also for passenger movements, like the GMH Holden plant, which had a passenger platform as well, which took trains at shift change times. So yeah, I know a bit about railways, but I'm no expert yet. We've still got, I've still got a big list. I'll show you a bit of that big list as well. Probably still got about 18 to 20 videos, and who knows what's going to happen after that. Shout outs to the replayers as well. Shout outs to John Wayman, who always checks in. Shouts out to Daryl Sinclair, who's not here tonight. I know he's been lurking around today. I did see him pop up earlier on the Facebooks. And to anyone else who's regularly on board. Shouts out to all the people who are just lurking as well. And if you've never made a comment before, pipe up and say g'day. Yeah, I'll show you the itinerary for this trip that I've come up with on Sunday. I've got another book of the week, and then we're going to come to a bit of a close, because I was literally sitting in town at dinner about 45 minutes ago, so haven't had my usual time to prepare. Let me share this screenshot with you, and you'll kind of also see why I haven't had time to prepare. Let's go to screen cap and transition that over. So this is what I normally do. I've done this one maybe a little bit too much for a lot of my trips, particularly when I'm trying to cram an awful lot of filming into an awfully short amount of time. I'm just looking at my monitor here, and I'm not really sure what's going on with my lighting tonight. I'm trying to get things a bit brighter, trying to make the studio a bit more professional, but I just really don't have the space by the look of things. Now, I don't know why that screen cap is the way it is. I might just have to transform that. Bear with me just a tick. We'll figure this stuff out. It's pretty much how we roll, isn't it? We just work it out as we go along. Display capture, where is it? Transform. I've got to fit it to the screen, but that's about as good as it's going to get. Great. Might have to zoom it down a little bit. And then we'll transition that over and see if that captures the whole Word doc. Doesn't work the same. So Pete's heard that the ACST extension would be from Outer Harbour Station, following the old loop line around the golf course. Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Hopefully, it makes enough sense that they actually do something like that. Now, not sure. If you're on small screen, you're not going to be able to see this very well. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. See if I can take it out a bit further. Make it a little bit bigger. Transition that over. Go back to there. I'm using screen capture at the moment, which is why you're seeing the multiple screen thing. So the Western Victoria lines have been on my radar for probably 4 or 5 months now, and I was going to do them in August, in between the Pitchy Richie video and the Coffs Harbour videos, but things got really intense in September with the planning for the upcoming Coffs trip and the finishing off the editing and publishing for the Pitchy Richie. So I put this off until whenever, and it just kind of turns out that we're on our way home from the Coffs Harbour trip, and we started talking about it, and I started realising that I sort of had the budget and I've got the time. Now I'm sort of in between jobs at the moment. So, I've got the budget and got the time. So I was going to go next week, but then I realised that the Red Cliffs Historical Heritage Tramway, whatever they call it, I've got it in the notes here, was running on Sunday the 6th and not again for another month. So I figured I better move things around and get up there while this one's running, rather than get up there a week later when it's not running and just take photos over the barbed wire fence or something. So, I've had to plan everything down to, sort of a 15-minute, half-hour sort of interval so I can fit everything in. So I'm going to go up to Mildura and then down to Red Cliffs to check out that. And then we're going to go out onto the Moringa line and check out what remains of that far west Victorian line through the Millewa region there. I've always wanted to film a little bit around Oyen as well. There's a lot of railway infrastructure still left around there, which is unusual for the area. And then I'll head down to Patchewallock for the night and then start exploring some of those other far west Mallee lines. So out to Yapeat, obviously. By the sounds of it, also known as Turkey Bottom. Thank you for that. See, I'm going to add this in live now. And I'll go back down and add it somewhere down here. Where are we? See, I always learn more from you all on the chat. Get to add some things in. And I'm going to ask you if there's any things that you want to see out there in Western Victoria, from the top to the bottom. Do Patchewallock, we'll do the Yapeat line, the Yanak line, we'll go down to Horsham, then we'll go out to Peron, hopefully with Mount Arapiles in the background. Wirramal is definitely on the list as well, because that is out there on that line. But thanks for the tip. If I'm needing lunch about then I might try stopping in at Wirramal. I might also just stop at the Oyen Bakery as well, which is pretty bloody legendary. Then we'll go from Horsham down to Hamilton and cover that line there, and then out to Coleraine. Decided to finish up there for the night because that's where I could get accommodation within a few days' notice. So I'm staying at the Patchewallock pub, and then I'll be staying at the Smokehouse pub, National Hotel or something in Coleraine. So totally kind of slumming it with the pub accommodation, but it's not really slumming it. It's just me, and just need somewhere to sleep. As long as it's clean, that's fine. And you can get really cheap accommodation at country pubs compared to what I was just paying for, the four of us as a family to stay at places. And then I want to explore this, kind of expanded really quickly as well, because I decided I had 2 nights and a bit of time. So I'll explore around Casterton. There's a lot of classic country out there. You got the Glenelg River, the Wannon River, the Wimmera River. So there's some really beautiful country out there I'm looking forward to exploring. And then we'll get on down to Haywood, and then we'll get back over to Mount Gambier and explore the Haywood to Mount Gambier line. Then after that, I want to drop in on Kalangadoo one more time and do a bit of a return to Kalangadoo vid. I'm going to rock on into Peter Savage's place. He mentioned to me, or mentioned in the comments on one of my videos, that I should have dropped in and seen him. So I'm going to go and knock on his door, and we'll see what we can come up with for the Kalangadoo Railway Museum and the old station precinct there as well. You mean there's a pool at the Patchy Pub? Luxury in the middle of nowhere. Who would have thought? Certainly I'll be looking forward to a meal, but probably not a swim at that stage, although that might pass for a shower. Witcher Proof, I might check out Witcher Proof if it's... I've got to have a look at the map later on. and see whether or not I can fit it in to the timings. Because it looks like I'll be back in Adelaide about 7 o'clock, or as I put, probably about 10 o'clock, knowing me. In the last day, I tend to just want to hang around and do stuff. And if you're interested too, the kind of budget that I'm looking at there for this trip works out to about $475. So this stuff ain't free. So I do really enjoy it. This is why I'm not charging an arm and a leg for it, because I absolutely love it, and it's a great way to spend money, I think. And somewhere along the line in one of those videos, I do want to talk a little bit more about why I'm doing what I'm doing with these old abandoned railway lines, and I'm not just simply chasing bigger and bigger trains, and why I'm focusing on basically where the trains aren't anymore. I'm going all the way out here, and there's a lot of active railway lines, but I'm not budgeting any time to spend waiting around for a freaking train. Do I have any date nows? I've got one date now, and I really love the idea of date nows. Train Boy 1200. I think they're a very cool idea. The nice lady at the is it Olery Manor Hill pub? Nice lady at the Manor Hill pub. She's got a lot of date nows. Di Hyatt, I think her name is. She gave me a date now because she took pity on me exploring all these railway lines and not having any date nows. But I think it's probably because there's an awful lot of date now explorers out there, and I tend not to. G'day, Nico. Sorry if I didn't say g'day earlier. Maybe they've all been collected. It's just not something that I've seen out there as I'm kicking around all the old dog spikes and fish plates and old sleepers and bits and pieces out there. Just haven't really seen them. Date nails are a kind of medium-sized nail which has the date of the, correct me someone if I'm wrong, the date of the manufacturer of the sleeper, or the date, roughly, the month or whatever the sleeper was laid, so that they could identify if those sleepers would need replacing because of their age. I'm pretty sure they were only used on South Australian railways, and they were put in so you could basically see the age of batches of wooden sleepers. I'm still learning a little bit about them. As I've said, I've only collected one at the moment. And then I've made my notes on each line that I want to do along the way. I have cut and pasted a bit from various resources. Sometimes I've left my links to those resources here in the document, like Victorian Railways, Western Langford, Wikipedia. Let's face it, people put a lot of work into Wikipedia, and sometimes you can get some good stuff out of it. I tend to want to rework it, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute. So Redcliffe to Moringa is the first one, and these are the notes that I'll base my narratives on, or my little pieces where I'm talking to camera. And then there's a little known line called the Nwingi Mellowa South line, which was a gypsum line which went out into the middle of the Mellowa, just south of the Redcliffs line and north of the Oyen line, out there into sort of big desert sunset country in Western Victoria. Thanks, Kingsley. Welcome aboard. Good to see you, mate. So that was, yes, the year the sleeper was laid. Thank you for that. The Patchy Wallock line. Now, ever since years ago, I went out there and I saw the tiny little railway museum that's out there. I've always wanted to explore that line. I got a little bit on the Turkey Bottom line there. Then there's a bit between Dimboola and Jeparet, but look, that's the main line these days. I don't really go where the trains are. Then you've got the Yanak line out into the Mallee. Some interesting little things there, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I can find there. Then we've got the Horsham to Carpolac line. Here's an example, right, if you can see in that text on the left-hand page there, where I've taken the notes that I've made and then I've put it into Gemini, which is Google's AI, and I've said, write me a YouTube video script using this text. And this is what it's come back with. So it even comes back with sound effect descriptions. It sometimes comes back with image descriptions as well. So it'll actually say, sound of train chugging and whistle blowing, image of steam train disappearing into the night, or something like that. And then it'll break the text down into something more talkative, I guess. And so it turns it into a narrative, so it can be like, in the heart of rural Victoria, the railway line connecting Horsham to Carpolac wove its way through fertile landscapes, serving as a lifeline for the region's communities. Its story began in August 1887, when the initial stretch from Horsham to East Natimuc and then south to Noradujah was opened, although it's Noradjua, so yeah, there you go. Over the years, the line expanded, reaching, Gorokay in July 1894, and finally Carpolac in May 1927. So here you go, here's two. There's Carpolac, but I'm pretty sure that would be Carpolac, but is it Goroki, or is it Gorok, or is it Goroki? God, I'm sure someone from Goroki will pipe up and tell me that I got it wrong at some stage. It's a shame, as we've said a lot on here, there's not a how you pronounce it -ometer for all of these little towns that have really strange names. Then the Horsham to Hamilton, which actually, through my research, turned out to be a bit of a line thing as well, not so much an in-between thing. There's some great bridges and infrastructure I want to check out there. Then we head into some real classic country with the Coleraine line, the Casterton line, and then we head down to one that I've been meaning to do for a long time, and turning this trip into 2 nights, turned this into an opportunity, so I can go and do the Mount Gambier to Haywood line. And again, at the top half of that left-hand page is where I've cut and pasted, adapted, edited a bit of copy to be a set of notes. Then I've cut and pasted that again into the AI, and after that it's come back with scene 1, opening shot of a vintage train travelling through a scenic countryside. Not sure I'm going to get any footage of a scenic train travelling through the scenic countryside on the Haywood line anymore. And then you read the intro to that. So yeah, today we're taking a journey through time along the historic Mount Gambier to Haywood railway line. This line, connecting two charming there's a mistake, connecting two charming southeast towns, has a rich history that stretches back over a century. See, AI doesn't always get it right. Well, in fact, it should be pretty obvious that AI is not always going to get it right. So, yeah, there you go. That is the kind of lengths that I will go to. And then we've got Kalangadoo, which I've got far too much information on. And then kind of notes there for me to do intros and outros for each of these videos while I'm out there on site. Then I found a really great 1928 Victorian Railways map on victorianrailways.net. They've got some great maps there. I should be able to use this. I should be in the clear because it's a 1928 government publication, so should have no issues with copyright, but I have reached out to VR just to make sure that it's okay. They may have made edits to it. And then I got the big list of videos still in my head, and there's probably about 18 to 20 there. The ones highlighted in black on the left hand side there, or on this only page we're looking at now, are the ones that I am going to need some image assistance with. And it looks like I will be down at the NRM in the next week or two to pick their brains for some more images, which will keep me going for another few months. Thanks, O'Malley. Yeah, it takes a bit of planning to kind of fit everything I want to do into just 3 days, to try and keep the dollars down a bit as well, and try and keep the time down. Are you talking about, Pete? Are you talking about the script directions and stuff like that, or the sound effects? Yeah. So that's something I do want to do a little bit more of. I'll cut out this screen cap now. That's something I do want to do more of, is integrate some sound effects into things. I've tended to find that my background sound effects will be pretty good, and when I do are okay when I'm filming with the Pocket. And I don't know, sometimes I'm just struggling to kind of fit it in as well, because I do like to have that sort of music thing going. Every now and then it works really well. The sound effects, the train driver washed away at Fords, swept away at Fords. That had a lot of sound effects in it. So I know where to get them and use them as well, but I just feel like sometimes, like, you know, something like the Pitchy Richie video or whatever, I might be just really just shoehorning that in, and overriding or undermining the effect of the music in the videos as well. None of my future videos need access in prohibited areas, except for the Radium Hill one. That is private property / prohibited area. That is one that is down near the end of the list, but you know what, sometimes these videos might be the end of the list, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh hey, I'm going to go do that next week, because the opportunity arises. And somebody did mention to me, I mentioned this too a lot on my Facebook page, that they might be able to get me access. Who knows? Could be full of shit. We'll see what happens. I might go back through my messages there and see if I can figure out who that was, who knew a guy who'd be able to get me into the Radium Hill area. There's still some infrastructure, and I think a video like that really would totally suit my style. So I've just got to figure out a way to get in there. So we're going to move forward to Book of the Week. Book of the Week, we're going to go back more than 50 years now. I found this, of all places, again, Ulmarra, just north of Grafton in northern New South Wales. But this is Rails to the Bay. And on the back there, unsurprisingly, it has a picture of a tram. Don't mind all my torn off little notes, bookmarks I put in for notes. But this is a 1971 edition by the Australian Electric Traction Association. And it's incredibly old school. So I saw a lot of this through other railway books, but this one was written in 1971, before all of the other railway books, and it's very dense. I love the typesetting in 1971, very manual. Now, I had this one bookmarked for a reason. Here we go. It's full of anecdotes like this one. So, as I were discussing the benefits and drawbacks of building a railway line to Glenelg on the side of the current tramway, one Mr. W.M. Everard of Ashford, after whom Everard Park was no doubt named, gave evidence against the line at the Select Committee on the bill. He contended that the plan was not in the public interest due to insufficient traffic. The line passed through his property, of course it did, and he thought the compensation was inadequate, particularly when account was taken of the way the line cut across his property. The line was not only a waste of shareholders' money, but also a needless interference with the rights of the private individual. Gee, I'm glad some things, obviously, were still the same back then. He just couldn't get on Facebook and rant about it, that's all. Property values along the route would decline, and as evidence on this score, he stated he was unable to sleep during a recent trip to England because of the proximity of the trains. As far as he was concerned, the Bay Road was the best route for the population, and a horse tramway would be sufficient. Yep, there you go. It's my land, and I can't sleep, so I don't want any of these bloody electric trams rattling past. I just want to stick with the horse and cart. Thanks. They've got some excellent old photos as well. Again, some of them from personal collections, which you won't see elsewhere. There's a train going down the middle of Jetty Road there to Moseley Square. There's an oval in Radium Hill. Well, if I ever get in there, I'll make sure I check it out. Now, I had this one bookmarked for a reason. And I don't know why now, because I can't really see the bit here. Maybe it was just the photos. It's a pretty heavy duty read. It connected The tramway, obviously, and the railway line, as it was, connected Morphettville Racecourse, and there were even horse boxes built. And Phar Lap, the racehorse, was transported by the Glenelg Railway at one point. Where's the next one, though? There was a really interesting anecdote in here. Here we go. Yeah, okay. So it talked about the importance of the line when the days when everybody used to travel by public transport and used to head down to Holdfast Bay to the old gum tree for the Proclamation Day ceremonies. And the massive amount of traffic that it used to carry back then. It is unlikely that the line will ever see such traffic conditions again, as the relative importance of public transport, particularly for pleasure outings, has declined in recent years. The attraction of Glenelg on Proclamation Day to celebrate the state's birthday has also declined, as history grows dim and of little importance to the people of today, pursuing their pleasures further afield in their own vehicle. So even back in 1971, they were already recognising my mantra about the way what's happened to railways over the years and continues to happen. Well, essentially, it's already happened, and you know, public transport these days is never going to be taken as seriously as it was back in those days. Now everybody's just got a car and we can just go where the hell we want, when the hell we want. They are interesting. The old Glenelg trams, yeah. Look, Adelaide used to have a Glenelg tram restaurant even down at Collie Reserve, where the old Buffalo boat was. But at some point, we decided that this heritage was crap, and we just got rid of the Buffalo restaurant, and we also got rid of the Glenelg tram car restaurant, because who the hell wants something as nice as a tram car restaurant hanging around at Glenelg when you can rent out the marina and the apartments to millionaires? Driving a Datsun 1600 was more fun. I think I had a 120Y, so maybe a little bit of a later model than a 1600. A Datsun 120Y, I'm pretty sure was what they were called. That was not fun to drive at all. No. Just no. Interesting too, if I was studying this railway line at this particular point in time, this would have been probably the most amazing resource that you could find anywhere. Then it goes into the appendices, right? It talks about all the level crossing devices. It talks about the amount of traffic. It talks about patronage. It talks about poll numbers. It talks about fares. It talks about timetables. Full credit to this book, actually. If I was researching this line, this would have been absolutely brilliant. It's got a $40 price tag in it. That's more expensive than modern books. But hey, this book is now 53 years old, and here's hoping that I can keep it in my collection till it's 103 years old, and we can reach back into 1971. Because once something's printed and published in a book, it stays that way forever until somebody opens the book and reads it. And so that's what I love about having a collection of books, is they are a frozen moment in time. You can't go back and edit the post or change the copy on the website, or the website just closes down because you're not going to pay for it anymore, or whatever. The book will always remain. You've just got to find it. Geez, all these Datsuns. We should have a Datsun Remembrance Appreciation Society. I was going to talk about mission notes and stuff, but I'll probably talk about that more, and I'll start to save some stuff now for the 2-year episode. 100 chats is a really good one, but it's only 4 weeks away until it's 2 years of good chats, 2 years of my life, streaming every Wednesday night, and I'll go and find some of the original footage. You guys are crazy, man. Drove Datsun 1100 across to Perth when it was a dirt road, man. I remember some crazy old roads, but nothing like that. So, what we're going to do now, it's nearly been 45 minutes, notwithstanding I was a little bit late. It's time to wrap up, folks. It's time for me to do more meticulous planning and get some more old footage, old images, I should say, of some of these Victorian lines so I can integrate them into my video. This time, Western Langford, and those of you who research railway lines will know the Western Langford, WESTON hyphen Langford collection of images covers a lot of Australia, even covers some international lines as well. Is a huge image resource for researchers of old railway lines like me. And if you haven't checked out the Western Langford collection, then go and check it out. Although I suspect most of the railway heads here have checked it out. So the tram this is really interesting. So the tram 361 has been moved to a B&B in Bridgewater, joining 376. Oh, I think I heard something about this, Pete. So look that up, because that would be really cool to stay in a tram carriage. It's got Barossa Junction vibes about it up in Bridgewater. So I'm definitely going to follow that up, dude. Because if it's a train carriage and I can stay in it, then I'm going to stay in it. So if you know of any others where you can actually stay in an old tram carriage or railway carriage, let me know, because that's kind of another mission of mine as well, and could also become a bit of a subject for my YouTube videos as well. Although it is interesting how these railway carriages tend to get transplanted around the place. So thanks for everyone for coming on board. I haven't had a long video to play tonight. It's been 45 minutes of me talking, which I'm getting better at all the time. Hey, sometimes the live stream's actually good. So thanks to O'Malley Tours 34 around the grounds again. Thanks for all your info. Go check out O'Malley Tours 34 ATG if you're interested in exploring the old football ground and cricket ground histories. Also check him out on Facebook as well. He goes a little bit deeper into things and shares more resources there. JK and Harvey and Luke's Fishing NT, thank you for coming on board, gentlemen. Steve Klink, thank you for coming on board. Pete Donaldson, thank you for coming on board. Come hither with Heather, thank you, darling, for coming on board again. Hope you can be with us again in 4 weeks' time for 2 years of good chats. Maybe we could even hook up a guest appearance from you and Drew. Maybe even some of the other people who have been instrumental in this, like Pete Richens, Driftoz, who's on here from time to time. He went through a lot of live stream testing with me over 2 years ago. It was very boring, and I thank him a lot for helping me with that. Who else have we had on board tonight? Harvey, who went fishing today and saw only brim. I don't know what you're hoping to see, but hopefully you will see the right fish tomorrow. Sports Edits, thank you for coming on board. Zamago, thanks for coming on board and sticking around, mate. Always feel free to come on, ask questions, and add in information as well where I seem to be missing some things, because this is what I do it for, to learn and contribute to the sort of wider sphere of information around railways and railway history in a new way. God, how many railway history dudes do you know that do a live stream every Wednesday night? Train Boy 1200, thanks for coming on board, man. I don't know why, but when I think about 1200s, I think about DJ decks. That's just old school me. Who else have we had on board? Nico, thanks for coming on board, sir. Kingsley, thank you for representing the west of Australia. We also had, I think that's about it. We're missing Kane's trains. He is interstate at the moment, I think. Whatever happened to That's All, folks? Oh God, I forgot to transition that. See, there you go. Whatever happened to That's All, folks? gone. I wish there was a way I could get JK onto some serious laptop equipment and be like the editor that just kind of knows when these things are meant to change over and transfer over. I had it up on one screen, but I didn't have it up on the other screen. Believe it or not, this stuff's actually more complicated than you think. But I'm not going to whinge because we're actually doing pretty well. I think I'm getting a little bit better every week. Who knows? Might actually be good in another year's time. Andy's gone missing. Thanks for not being here, Andy. If you're listening to the replay, we missed you, man, and gave you some big ups as well. Go check out Munro Jumpers and Andy's channel. It's so great to be doing what I do alongside guys and gals like all of y'all as we, build up our YouTube skills, we build up our broadcasting skills, and we learn more all the time. So, any rate, enough crapping on from me. Thank you for joining me for 100 good chats. I feel so privileged to still be here. A little bit beaten and worn also at the same time, but I've learned a lot. And thank you to all of y'all who have been around from pretty much the very beginning. So that's it. Until next week. We do this every Wednesday at 8:15 p.m. Why not 8 p.m.? Because 8:15 p.m. just sounds cooler. So everybody, have a great week, and we'll chat more next Wednesday. Cheers.